The red sun hung low over the city of New York. Harrison stood at the window of the military command center and watched the sky. Something was wrong. Something was coming. The radar screens behind him showed the ships. 47 large objects entering Earth's atmosphere. The scientists called them fast, too fast for any human-made vehicle, felt cold in his chest. He had been a military captain for 20 years. He had fought in many places, but nothing like this. "Sir, the objects are slowing down," said Lieutenant. He was young. His hands shook as he pointed at the screen. "They are moving into holding positions above major cities." Did not speak, he watched the data. London, Tokyo, Cairo, Paris, Beijing, Moscow. The ships were not attacking, not yet, but they were here. The world would never be the same. The phone rang. It was the President of the United States. Her voice was hard and clear. "Captain Harrison, we need you in the Situation Room in 30 minutes. We need answers. What are they?" "I do not know, Madam President," said, "but they are not here to trade." The Situation Room was full of important people. Military generals, scientists, government leaders, all of them looked afraid. A woman with short dark hair stood near the main screen. This was Doctor. She was a scientist who studied space and stars, had read her work. She was one of the people in the world. "The ships are holding position," said. She pointed to the images from space. "They have not fired, they have not spoken, they are simply waiting." "Waiting for what?" asked General. "We do not know," said. "But they are powerful. Our missiles cannot reach them. Our planes cannot fly that high or that fast." "Spoke up. Have they tried to communicate?" Nodded. "They are broadcasting on every frequency, but not in any language we understand. It is more like code, a pattern." "Can you decode it?" asked the President. "We are trying," said, "but it is very complex. It will take time." Time was the thing they did not have. The next morning, the ship sent a message. This time it was in English. The aliens had learned the language by listening to Earth's radio and internet signals. The message was simple. "We are the Empire. You are primitive. You will surrender your world to us. You have 24 hours to decide. If you refuse, we will destroy you." The message played on every screen in the world. News channels showed it. Social media shared it. The whole world heard the same words: surrender or die. The President called another meeting. This time was ready with a plan. "We cannot fight them with weapons we have," said. "Our planes cannot reach them. Our missiles are not fast enough. But we have something they do not understand. We can adapt. We can think in ways they cannot predict." "You are talking about surrender," said one general. "No," said. "I am talking about survival. We make them believe we are going to surrender, but we prepare. We move people underground. We gather our military forces in places they cannot see. We study their ships. We find their weakness." "And if there is no weakness?" asked the President. Looked at her. "Then we die, but at least we die trying." Added to his plan. "We need every scientist and engineer in this country. We need to study the alien signals. We need to understand their technology. Captain Harrison is right. If we fight them with force, we lose. But if we understand them, we might find a way." The President made her choice. "Do it, but we need to make them think we are surrendering." Over the next 18 hours, Earth made a public announcement. All nations agreed to surrender. The President of the United States appeared on screen and announced that humanity would not fight. The aliens had won. The world would accept their terms. But behind the scenes, everything was different. Worked with military leaders from every country. They moved soldiers to secret bases deep underground. They took weapons apart and hid them. They prepared defenses that the aliens could not see from space. Worked with her team around the clock. They set up listening stations. They tried to decode the alien language. They studied the patterns of the alien ships. Slowly, they began to understand. They were arrogant. They believed in their power so much that they did not prepare for resistance. Their shields were strong, but they had weaknesses. Their weapons were advanced, but they followed patterns. The alien landing ships came down to the surface the next day. They landed on military bases and government buildings. The soldiers that came out were tall and pale. Their skin was like white stone. They carried weapons that looked like nothing humans had ever made. The leader of the invasion was Commander. He was older than the other. He had a scar that ran across his face. He looked at the humans that greeted him with contempt. "You have made the right choice," said to the American leaders. "Surrender was the only intelligent option. Your species is weak. You will serve the Empire now, you will give us your resources, your young people will become workers, your knowledge will become ours. The American leaders did not argue, they played their role, they looked defeated, they looked like people who had lost everything. But was watching from a hidden location. He saw them become careless, he saw them rest and eat, he saw them look at Earth with greed instead of fear. Sent him a message through a secure line. "We have found something," she said. "Their shields are built on a frequency of exactly 47.3 megahertz. We can generate interference on that frequency using our power plants and radio towers. It will not destroy their shields, but it will weaken them." Felt something change inside him, hope, real hope. He looked at the soldiers around him, young and old, men and women, all of them ready to fight, all of them ready to die if they had to. "Get the message out," said. "Tell everyone we are not surrendering, we are preparing. In 3 days we strike. We make these aliens understand that they made a mistake when they came to Earth." The soldiers began to move into position, hidden, silent, ready. Above them, they celebrated their easy victory. They did not know what was coming. The first attack came at dawn. Harrison gave the signal from his underground command center. Across the globe, signals were sent to power plants, communication towers, and military installations. The electromagnetic pulse hit the shield generators like a hammer, not enough to destroy them, but enough to crack them, enough to make them fail for 3 minutes. In those 3 minutes, human soldiers struck. In Japan, a unit led by Major fired rockets at a landing craft. The rockets found their targets. Fire and smoke rose into the sky. They had not expected this. They had expected gratitude. They had expected slaves kneeling before them. They did not get what they expected. Watch the reports come in from her safe location. London, Paris, Cairo, Moscow, Beijing, every major city where they had landed, humans were fighting back. "They are retreating to their landing sites," said to through a secure video call. "The electromagnetic attacks are working. Their shields are still strong, but they are not prepared for ground warfare." Good said he was tired but focused. "Tell the forces in Asia to press the attack. Do not let them regroup." Commander was furious. He had conquered dozens of worlds. He had never faced resistance like this. The humans were not supposed to be smart. They were not supposed to be coordinated. They were not supposed to be brave. He sent a message to, "You have made a mistake, human. We will destroy your cities. We will kill your people. We will make you suffer." Did not respond with fear. He responded with action. The second phase of the plan began. Had positioned human soldiers in cities around the world, not in open streets where technology could kill them, but in buildings, in underground tunnels, in places where the aliens could not use their powerful weapons without destroying the land they wanted to conquer. In New York, a team led by Major Lisa Cooper moved through the city like ghosts. They had studied maps. They knew every street, every building, every way to move without being seen. Lisa was a tough soldier. She had been in the military for 15 years. She was quick. She was smart. She did not show fear. Her team found a weapons storage unit in Times Square. They did not attack it directly. That would be suicide. Instead, they planned something more careful. They studied the routines. They learned when the guards changed. They learned when the storage area was weakest. One night, Lisa and 2 soldiers got inside. They placed small devices made from human technology inside the weapons. The devices were set to activate later. When they used the weapons, the devices would damage them from inside. "We cannot beat them with strength," Lisa told her team. "So we use our brains, we make them fight us in our world, we make them come to us." The plan worked better than expected. Over the next week, weapons began to fail. When they fired, something went wrong. Some weapons exploded, some simply stopped working. They did not understand what was happening. And her team were monitoring every alien signal. They were learning how the shields worked. They were learning the patterns of their weapons systems. "Look at this," said to her senior scientist, Dr. David Park. She showed him data from a captured drone. "Their armor plating is made from a material that reacts badly to changes in temperature. If we can heat it very fast, we can crack it." David looked at the data. "We can do that with focused laser beams, but we need to aim them perfectly. The margin for error is small." "Then we have to be perfect," said. "Get every laser facility in the world ready. We will need them." Back in the field was moving his people. He had learned that they were not as organized as they looked. Without clear communications from their command ship, they were confused. They were making mistakes. He gathered his military leaders, Captain Price, Major Lisa Cooper, Colonel Richard Davis, General Michael Hayes. "We have them where we want them," said. "They are spread out, they are losing equipment, they are losing confidence, but they will not break easily. We need to hit them harder, we need to target their command structure." "You mean the main command ship," said. "It is in orbit, we cannot reach it." "We can," said. She had joined the meeting through video. "We have captured enough of their technology to understand their communication system. We can build a weapon using their own principles against them. But it will be dangerous. It will require someone to get to the surface command relay point, someone willing to risk everything." The room went silent. "Stood up, I will do it. I will lead the team to the relay point." "You will likely die," said. "I know," said, "but my family is in this world. My sister has 2 children. My brother is fighting in London. If we do not stop these aliens, none of them will have a future. I accept the risk." Over the next days, prepared the final pieces of the plan. He coordinated with. They would hit the command ship from above with a modified satellite. At the same time, his team would reach the relay point on the ground and cause damage from below. The coordination had to be perfect. Lisa prepared weapons that could damage the armor. She trained soldiers on how to use the laser systems. She prepared for a battle like nothing Earth had ever seen. Knew something was wrong. His forces were being hurt, his equipment was failing, but he was proud. He believed the power was greater than any human trick. He made a decision that would change everything. "Destroy the command relay point," he ordered. "Destroy it completely. I do not care if we have to level the entire city. We will show these humans what real power looks like." But was already moving. He had predicted this. He had prepared for it. The day of the final strike came. Around the world, soldiers took position. His team prepared the satellite, and his soldiers moved toward the relay point. Gave the order to attack. They fired their weapons at the relay point location. They destroyed buildings. They destroyed streets. They showed the power of their weapons. But his team were not where the weapons hit. They had moved through the underground tunnels. They had used the city itself as a shield. At the exact moment that the weapons stopped firing, sent the signal. The satellite fired, the laser cut through space. It hit the command ship with perfect accuracy. An's team reached the relay point. The explosion that followed lit up the sky. The command ship's power core failed. Its shields went dark. Its communications went silent. For a moment, the whole world held its breath. The command ship fell from the sky in pieces. Commander was still alive, but barely. He was trapped in an escape pod, watching his empire collapse below him. Without central command, the forces on Earth became a problem for everyone. Some tried to retreat. Some continued fighting with no clear purpose. Some became even more dangerous because they had nothing to lose. Harrison understood the danger. An uncontrolled army was sometimes worse than an organized one. "We need to move fast," told his commanders. "We need to stop them before they just destroy everything." Lisa Cooper was in New York. She led a team of soldiers through the streets where were fighting randomly. They had no orders. They had no plan. They just destroyed. One combat unit had taken control of a hospital. Inside were hundreds of patients. Sick people, children, injured people who could not fight. Lisa studied the situation. She could not attack directly. That would kill everyone inside. She thought about the alien technology she had studied. The shields, the armor, the weapons. She knew their weaknesses now. "Get me 3 laser units," Lisa said to her sergeant, "and I need them here in 1 hour." The laser systems came. They were modified from hospital equipment and stolen components. His team had built them to be portable, small, but powerful. Lisa planned the attack carefully. The first laser would hit the shields at a precise angle. The second would damage the armor while the shields were weakening. The third would create a hole in their defensive line. When the attack began, they did not understand what was happening. Their shields failed. Their armor cracked. Soldiers in white protective suits ran into the hospital and brought out the patients. They tried to fight back, but it was too late. They were wounded. They were confused. The humans had learned to fight them. In London, a different kind of battle was happening. A group had dug into a defensive position in an old military fort. They were well protected. They had weapons. They had supplies. Colonel Richard Davis led a large force of human soldiers, but he knew that attacking directly would cause many human deaths, so he did something different. He cut off their supplies, he blocked their communications, he made sure they knew they were surrounded with no way out. "Surrender," Davis broadcast to the. "You are alone, your command is destroyed, your reinforcements will not come, you can surrender now and live." They did not surrender at first. They fought for hours, but Davis was patient. He kept the pressure on them, he did not allow rest, he did not allow hope. Finally, soldiers began to walk out with their hands empty. They were surrendering. They were choosing survival over death. Watch the reports from her command center. She was monitoring communications from hundreds of locations around the world. The pattern was clear. Humans were winning. But not all were surrendering. Some were fighting harder, some were becoming more dangerous. In Tokyo, a destroyer was causing massive damage. It was a large machine, 14 meters tall, armed with multiple weapons. It was killing soldiers and civilians. A young captain named James Morgan led a team that tracked the destroyer through the city. James had an idea that was very dangerous, maybe too dangerous. "I need volunteers," James said to his team. "This next action might kill us, but it is the only way to stop this destroyer." Every soldier stepped forward. James led them into the twisted streets of Tokyo. The destroyer followed. It was powerful, it could see far, it could move fast, but it could not see into the tight spaces where humans could hide. James led the destroyer through narrow passages, through buildings, through streets so small that the machine had to push through the walls. Then at the perfect moment, James's team fired, from 5 different directions, from 5 different angles. The laser weapons struck the destroyer at once. The machine fell, it crashed into the street. Smoke and fire came from it. James Morgan had stopped the destroyer, but 3 of his soldiers did not survive the action. Received the report. He felt the weight of every death, every person who had died to save Earth. "Tell Morgan that his team saved thousands of lives," said. "Their sacrifice is honored." But the war was not over. Survived the fall of the command ship. His escape pod brought him down outside a city. He was wounded. He was alone, but he was alive. He started walking toward the nearest position. He was going to retake control. He was going to show the humans that the Empire did not surrender. But had prepared for this. He had scouts watching for the highest leaders. When was found, soldiers were sent to capture him. Fought, he was strong, he was trained. But he was alone, his weapons were damaged, he could not win. When he finally fell to the ground, he was surrounded by human soldiers with weapons pointed at him. Came to see him in person. "You invaded our world," said. "You killed our people, you tried to take what is ours." Looked at with hate. "You are primitive, you should not have been able to do this. This is impossible." Maybe, said, "But we are here, you are defeated, your empire is broken." Laughed, it was a hard sound. "One invasion broken. There are hundreds more. The Empire will return with larger forces, with better weapons." Did not respond to the threat. He knew it might be true, but that was a problem for another day. Over the next week, coordinated the collection of all remaining forces. Some were surrendering, some were still fighting, but they were losing ground every day. Made a discovery that shocked everyone. She had decoded a database recovered from the command ship. "The Empire has conquered 4,847 worlds," said. "They have never faced a species that could fight them like this. Every other world surrendered immediately or was destroyed completely. Earth is unique." Looked at the data, he saw the names of worlds, he saw the dates of conquests, he understood what this meant. Humanity was not facing just an invasion. They were facing proof that their kind of thinking, their kind of fighting, their kind of adaptation was rare in the galaxy. He made a decision. "We are going to offer them something," said. "We are going to offer the way to retreat, with their lives, but they have to leave Earth, they have to leave now." His generals looked at him like he was crazy. "Sir, they tried to kill us all," one general said. "Why would we let them escape?" Looked out the window at the damaged city beyond. He thought about the millions who had died. He thought about the soldiers who had sacrificed everything. "Because," he said, "we are better than they are. They understand only power and conquest. We understand something more. We understand mercy. And sometimes mercy is the strongest power of all." He drafted the message himself. It was sent to every surviving unit. You have been defeated. You can choose to die or you can choose to leave. You have 1 week to gather your people and leave Earth. After 1 week, we will stop offering this choice. The message spread through the forces like lightning that did not understand mercy. It was not part of their nature. It was not part of their culture. For 3 days, nothing happened. The forces kept fighting. But then something changed. A small group of soldiers walked out of their position with their weapons lowered. They wanted to talk. They wanted to understand if the human offer was real. Sent Lisa Cooper to meet them. She brought only a few soldiers. She came without heavy weapons. She came with respect. The officer was named. He had served the Empire for 40 years. He had conquered many worlds. He had killed many thousands. But he had never been offered a choice before. Why? Asked Lisa. Why would you let us leave? You have won. You could kill us all. You could take our ships and our weapons. Lisa thought about how to answer. She was a soldier. She understood war. She understood that the hardest thing to understand was mercy. Because, Lisa said, we are not like you. We do not need to destroy everything we defeat. We do not need to prove that we are powerful by crushing the weak. We are powerful because we choose not to be cruel. Did not understand. Understanding something so different from his own nature was hard for him. But he had seen what humans could do. He had seen them turn captured technology into weapons. He had seen them fight in ways he had never imagined. He had seen them sacrifice their own lives to stop him. Maybe thought these humans were telling the truth. He took the message back to, was held in a secure location. He was a prisoner. He was being treated well, but he was a prisoner. They are offering us a way to leave, said. His face showed anger. I do not accept offers from defeated species. I will not run. Then we will all die, said. They have weapons we do not understand. They have strategies we did not predict. They have something we do not have. They have hope. They have reason to fight. We have neither. Our empire is broken. Thousands of our soldiers are dead. Our ships are damaged. If we stay, we die. If we leave, we survive. Survival is not honor, said. Neither is the extinction of our people, replied. But not all listened to his words. Some continued fighting. Some became more violent. Some destroyed things just because they could. In Germany, a unit destroyed a city park where children were playing. 43 children died. The humans found out and felt rage like fire. Had to make soldiers understand that this was exactly what the desperate wanted. They wanted humans to become so angry that they would destroy all the without mercy. Then mercy would look like weakness. Do not let them turn us into killers, told his troops. We are better than that. But the pain of lost children was sharp. It was hard to show mercy when children had died. Was in her command center when she received intelligence reports. Some ships had left Earth, only a few, but it was a beginning. She contacted. They are starting to leave, only small numbers, but it is happening, is convincing some of the soldiers that retreat is possible, that leaving Earth alive is better than dying here. What about? Asked. He is still resisting, but his influence is fatting. Without the command structure, he cannot force anyone to obey. The soldiers are making their own choices. Made a decision. He went to sea as a prisoner. I want to show you something, said. He brought videos. They showed the destruction. They showed the weapons destroying cities. They showed humans dying. Then showed different videos. They showed humans saving from burning buildings. They showed medics treating wounded. They showed humans giving food to captured soldiers. This is what separates us, said. You conquer, we protect, you destroy, we build. You see weakness in compassion, we see strength in it. For the first time, showed something that was not anger. It looked like confusion, like doubt. In the culture, continued, such mercy is not allowed. A defeated enemy must die. That is your law, that is your way, but our way is different. We can choose to be better than our enemies. We can choose to show them something they have never seen before. Did not respond, but something in him began to change. News of human mercy began to spread among the forces. More soldiers wanted to leave. More soldiers wanted to accept the human offer. Some units even started working with humans to transport the wounded to the evacuation points. Lisa coordinated with to move soldiers safely to their remaining ships. It was strange work, working alongside the people who had been trying to kill her just days before. But was an honorable soldier in his own way. He kept his word. He helped move his people to the evacuation points. More ships left Earth's atmosphere. Each one that left meant fewer soldiers fighting, meant fewer buildings destroyed, meant more humans would live. But there were still who refused to leave. They gathered under the command of a general named. He was old. He was stubborn. He still believed the Empire would win. "We will not retreat," told his soldiers. "We will fight to the last being. The humans are weak. They are using tricks. We are superior. We will destroy them all." But his soldiers were losing faith. They could see that others were leaving. They could see that the humans were not as weak as said. Sent a report. "This unit is isolated, about 3,000 soldiers. They have heavy weapons. They are dug in near Sydney, Australia. They are refusing evacuation. This could become very bad." Knew what had to happen. There had to be one last battle, one final confrontation. He gathered his strongest forces. Lisa Cooper, Price, James Morgan, all the soldiers who had fought so well against the. "This is the end of the war," told them. "We have shown mercy, we have shown strength, now we show that we cannot be broken." The final battle was hard and painful. Soldiers fought with the knowledge that they were going to die. They had nothing to lose. They fought like nothing humans had ever faced. But humans had learned too much. They moved too fast. They understood the weapons too well. They had adapted. After 6 hours of fighting was captured. His soldiers were defeated. When was brought before, he was bleeding and exhausted. "You will kill me now," said. Looked at this old alien warrior. He had caused so much death. He had caused so much pain. "No," said. "I will let you live, just like I live, just like I let your soldiers live. You are defeated. You are going to leave this world, and you are going to tell your empire what you learned here." Looked confused. He did not understand why he was not being killed. "Tell them that there is a species on this world that is stronger than they know. Not because of weapons, not because of technology, but because they can adapt. They can think. They can show mercy to their enemies. That is what makes humans dangerous." Over the next days, the last ships left Earth, sent a final message. "We are leaving, our empire is broken, our pride is wounded, but we will survive, and the story of Earth will be told across the galaxy. You are not primitive, you are not weak. You are something we have never encountered before, something different, something perhaps better than us." Received the message in his command center. Around him were Lisa and the other soldiers who had fought so hard. Earth had won, against impossible odds, against superior weapons, against an enemy they did not understand. Humans had won. 3 months after the last ship left Earth, Harrison stood on a high building in New York. The city was still broken. Buildings were destroyed. Streets were empty, but work had begun. People were rebuilding. Found him there. She had aged during the war. They all had. But there was something different in her eyes now, not just pain, but purpose. "We have decoded more of their technology," said. "The left behind a lot, damaged equipment, data files, weapons, all of it teaches us something new." "How fast can we learn?" asked. "At the rate we are going, I estimate we will have the ability to reach space in 10 years. Not in the way they do, but our own way, our own technology built on what we discovered from them." Thought about what this meant. Humans would not just defend Earth. Humans would reach out into the galaxy. Humans would become something more than what they had been. He said, "I need you to head the space research program. I need the best minds in the world working together. No more nations fighting each other. No more borders mattering. We need to think like one species now." Smiled. It was a small smile, but real. "I thought you would never ask." In London, Lisa Cooper was standing in front of a classroom full of young soldiers. She was teaching them about weapons systems, teaching them how to think about alien technology. "You have to understand," Lisa told them, "that strength is not always about power. They had more power than we did. But we had something they did not. We had the ability to change, to adapt, to think in new ways. That is what saved us. That is what will save us again if we ever face another threat." One young soldier raised his hand. "Captain Cooper, are we going to face them again?" "Probably," Lisa said. "Not the but someone. Somewhere in the galaxy there are other species. Some of them might be friendly, some might not. But now we know that we can beat them. Now we know that humans are stronger than we thought." In Sydney, James Morgan was visiting a memorial. It was a wall with names. The names of everyone who had died in the war. Thousands and thousands of names. He found the names of his 3 soldiers, the ones who had died stopping the destroyer. He placed his hand on their names. "You saved the world," he said to the wall. No one will ever forget that. Your families will know what you did. Your children and your children's children will know that you were brave, that you were strong, that you mattered. At the United Nations, a special session was called. All the leaders of the world gathered. For the first time, they were not there to argue with each other. They were there to speak as one people. Was chosen to address them. He walked to the podium. He looked at the faces of world leaders. They looked tired, they looked old, but they also looked united. We came together when we had to, said. We fought together when we had no choice. We won because we were not divided by borders or religions or politics. We were united as humans. Now we need to stay that way. We have suffered greatly. Millions are dead. Our cities are broken. Our world is changed. But we are still here. We are still strong. And we have learned something important. The barriers that separate us are smaller than the things that unite us. They came to take our world. They believed we were primitive. They believed we were weak. But they did not understand that humans have a strength they had never encountered. We can adapt. We can think. We can choose to be merciful even when we have the power to destroy. These things make us strong. These things make us dangerous to any enemy. Now we must use this unity to rebuild. We must show the galaxy that humanity is not just a species that survives. We are a species that builds, that creates, that chooses cooperation over destruction. The leaders of the world stood and applauded. For the first time in human history, the entire world was united behind one goal, one purpose, to rebuild, to grow, to reach out into the stars. 6 months later made an announcement. The first human space station was being constructed. It would launch in 2 years. Humans would go to the moon again. But this time they would not come back. They would build a base there, a place from which humans could reach out to the galaxy. Attended the launch ceremony. He stood with Lisa and all the others who had fought. Look at us, said. She was looking at the plans for the space station. We went from a primitive species to spacefaring in less than a year. We were never primitive, said. We just needed the right reason to show what we could do. In space, messages were being sent out into the galaxy. Messages in every language the humans had discovered. The message was simple. We are humanity. We come from Earth. We survived an invasion. We are not your enemies if you treat us with respect. But we are very dangerous if you try to destroy us. We invite peaceful contact, but we will defend our home. We will defend our people. We will survive. The message spread through the stars. Other species began to hear about the humans who had defeated the. Other species began to wonder about this species that showed mercy to their enemies. Other species began to prepare for contact with humanity. But the most important thing happened on Earth. The rebuilding was fast, not complete, but fast. Cities were cleared of rubble, new buildings were constructed, people who had been separated during the war found each other. Families came back together. Children were born, children who would never know the war. Children who would grow up in a world where humans were reaching for the stars. Children who would live in a time of peace and exploration. Stood in the ruins of New York 1 year after the war ended, the destruction was still visible. But around the destruction, new growth had begun. New buildings, new hope. He thought about all the people who had died, all the sacrifice, all the pain. But he also thought about why they had won. Because humans could adapt. Because humans could think. Because humans could choose to be better than their enemies. That was the real strength of humanity. Not weapons, not technology, but the ability to choose what kind of species they wanted to be. Walked up to him, she was carrying a small child. A girl, her daughter, born after the war, born into a world where humans were reaching for the stars. What do you want to show her? Asked. Looked at the child. He looked at the city beyond. He looked at the sky where the first human space station would soon orbit. Everything, he said. I want to show her everything that humans can be. The child looked up at the sky. In her eyes was wonder. In her eyes was hope. In her eyes was the future of humanity. The invasion was over. They had learned that humans were not primitive. They were not weak. They were something different, something that adapted, something that thought, something that could choose mercy. And now humanity was ready. Ready to face whatever came next. Ready to reach out into the galaxy. Ready to show the universe that humans were worth more than anyone had ever believed. The hidden titans of Earth had revealed themselves, and nothing would ever be the same again. But the cost was high. Millions were dead, cities lay in ruins, the world would have to rebuild everything. Looked at his team, He saw exhaustion, he saw pain, he saw victory. "We did it," he said simply. "Now we have to rebuild. Now we have to make sure this never happens again." For the first time in the history of the Empire, they were being offered mercy. Then news came from every location. The ships were losing power. The coordinated attacks stopped. The forces on the ground were no longer receiving orders. Humanity had struck the hidden weakness of the invasion. And everything changed. They did not know that humanity was waking up. They did not know that the hidden strength of Earth was about to be revealed.